It's the Dubplate Special Master.
Live and direct.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.
Good morning, my friends. We're back inside the building once again. Welcome back to Breakfast with Kovu here on the Big Bad Trickstar Radio. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to be in the building for this, the interview hour. This is the section of the show where we get into conversations with different artists from around the UK and beyond, get into conversations with them about their musical history, their new releases, and of course, their future plans. And today, we've got a very exciting one indeed. We actually premiered one of her tunes on the show a few weeks back. We have the wonderful Nia on the line. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's great to get you on. Really, really excited to get into this conversation. As I said, we've been playing a tune from you for a hot minute now, and we've been listening through it on the show a fair few times. We're going to talk about the new single, obviously, a little bit later on, and dive into that in a bit more depth. But obviously, with this show, we get a lot of different artists from different sort of backgrounds and sort of musical styles. So I'd like you to kind of introduce yourself, kind of who you are, kind of what you do as an artist, and what we can kind of expect so far. So who is Nia?
Okay, great. So I go by the name of Nia. I do R&B music. I mix a bit of French and English together because I'm from Congo and we speak French. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, right from the off, that's really interesting. Where did that sort of R&B sort of influence originally come from then? Because it's a genre with such a kind of mixed history of popularity, I suppose.
Right. Yeah. So with me, really started with my older sister. She loved TLC. She loved Destiny Child. So that's where it really started. And then I started singing in church for a couple months. And then after that, I said to myself, you know what, I really want to take music seriously and make it, a priority and make it full time.
Interested. So,
yeah.
I mean, with that sort of church influence in there as well, it's a story actually I hear quite regularly when we're talking about people's roots into R&B specifically. Why do you think that kind of pushed you in that direction musically?
I think just looking at the people that I looked up to, for example, like Beyonce, she started in church. The likes of Toni Braxton, so just the people that I really looked up to are all started from church. So then me started in church wasn't even because they didn't know. It was literally I started going to this new church and the pastor's wife, who was the choir leader, I don't know what she saw in me. She was just like, yeah, I think you should try. And I was a bit shy. And then when I did it, I was like, oh, okay. This is, something I would do. And the fact that I know the people that I looked up to went through the same route, it made me feel more, like, okay, these other people did the same thing as well as me, so it's a good look.
Amazing. I mean, as you said, it's quite an interesting route that a lot of people seem to have taken. And then kind of moving a little bit forward into, I suppose, actually getting into the studio, physically recording releases. Do you remember your first sort of studio session and how it went down?
Yes, I do. Oh, I was terrified. I felt like the mic was going to eat me up. Literally, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And of course, like when I first started, I did not like my voice. I was like, oh, this doesn't sound like the people I listen to, not knowing, not sounding like everyone else was a good thing. But back then, because I was so in tune with just listening to a certain type of sound or just being used to the people that I listened to. So me listening to my own voice was just like, ugh. And then I started listening to Toni Braxton when I thought, oh, like her voice, like the way it's deep, it's a bit like mine, and I love that. So I started getting more comfortable with my voice, and then me going studio felt more easy the more I was doing it.
Amazing. I feel that's such a kind of classic story, though. Kind of being there first time, everything's very kind of overwhelming. Being in that studio environment for the first time, and it definitely seems like you've picked things up moderately quickly. Because off the back of that, you're now releasing music moderately regularly. We've seen a few music videos drop on your own channel. Talk to me about this. The last sort of couple of years, obviously, in regards to releasing music, because it's been a bizarre few years to say the least. So how has that affected your kind of process from an artist perspective?
You know what? When I first really started, making videos and taking this really seriously, it was in 2019. I just thought, you know what? I've been so shy about this. Everyone around me keeps telling me to do it, and everyone was a lot of people was coming up as well. So I just thought, okay, let me try this. And then me dropping my first single I had people reach out to me wanting to work with me, and that was when the pandemic kind of started as well. Things went left, and then it was just too much. So I'm thinking, okay, I want to do music. I can't really do what I want right now because obviously the pandemic and the people that I was working with at that moment. And then ending of last year, I would say, that's when I got with, people that really support me, that really work with me and has pushed me, and we haven't stopped since. So, yeah, I can say it's been bittersweet.
Yeah, entirely, man, entirely. I mean, obviously, off the back of that, you've had a pretty interesting run of singles. We're going to talk about the most recent one next. Obviously, the tune we played on the show, I Miss You. Talk to me, firstly, about the sort of concept behind this one. I mean, the title's pretty self-evident, but I'm assuming there's a couple of sort of bits behind the scenes of this one. So talk to me about this tune, how it kind of came together, and obviously the response to it as well, because it's looked really, really good.
Yes. You know what? I Miss You is one of them songs when you're drunk and you're missing either your partner or your ex, or when you've had like a little situation with them and you guys are not talking and you start missing them when you're drunk. That was the song, really.
Well, you know what? It's a situation that we've all found ourselves in, so I feel it is definitely quite a relatable one, 100%. Like, obviously, off the back of this kind of landing, obviously the video's out there now. How has that response been? Have you had people messaging you going, I recognise this situation so much?
Yes, like a lot of people told me, oh my God, like we all go through this. And I was like, I know, like it's really relatable to girls mainly, I would say, because when we're drunk, we like to make certain mistakes. But no, like everyone's loving it, especially the part where I'm singing in French. Everyone loves that part. So no, it's been very good. Like I'm really grateful. I'm thankful for everyone that's been playing it, listening, saving them, watching them. I'm grateful.
Awesome. I mean, just before we do jump into it, I do want to kind of touch on, obviously, being the sort of multilingual approach that you're kind of bringing to these tunes. Like, is that something you've always done, or is it something you've just sort of found yourself naturally putting into tunes as you've gone?
You know what? When I first started making music, like, seriously, people used to tell me, oh, no, I think, you speak French. Why don't you do it? I was like, no, me speaking in French, my music? Hell no, that's never going to happen. But, I went back to Congo that's where I'm from, in 2019. And I just fell in love with, like, everything that was going on there, like, music-wise especially. There's so much talent that is crazy. So I just thought to myself, you know what, like, this is where I'm from. I might as well, represent another part of me, not just English. So I just thought, when I come back, most of my music is going to be a mixture.
Amazing. I mean, this is something that it sounds so interesting, and as you said, it does add something very different, very unique to what you're doing, and it's been awesome to watch so far. We are going to jump into this brand new single now. It goes by the name I Miss You from Nia. We are live on Trickstar Radio. It's just gone 13 minutes past 9, people. We're going to be back in a few minutes for some more conversations, so keep it locked and don't go anywhere. It's Breakfast with KXVU. Oh, yes.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavours on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.